So now it's actually the marketing conversation itself. And I guess let's look at the presentation as this. It's a book with chapters. So, you have the first chapter I'm thinking is, booking, the appraisal. The next chapter is, the connecting and needs analysis. And we're moving into chapters like pricing and the process, negotiation, timing, those kinds of things. And the chapter we're talking about here is the marketing. So we've got about 2 to 5 minutes to actually talk about this subject. So let's talk a little bit about the strategy and then roll into how it actually comes out. First of all, what we want to do is make sure at the start of discussing the marketing, as we've discussed in the other videos, is you really ask questions. You ask questions like, have you inquired on a property before? When you actually leased this, how did you come across it? What do you know about marketing? Are you aware of all the various different marketing channels? Those types of questions give you a little bit of a position on it. And then what you want to do is listen to the answers, because if they have a prone way of how they've been looking for marketing, then you can actually guide your marketing conversation in that direction. So the strategy always is question, listen for the answers, reframe what you've heard, and then advise accordingly. Question, listen, reframe, and advise. So in the context of that, the structure that I like to use is the following. First of all, I like to explain in the start of the conversation where we think our tenants or our buyers are coming from. And what I'm really encouraging you to do, as I mentioned in other videos, to really show on a map or show in a visual over the last 100, 200, 300 sales or 200, 300 tenancies you've signed up in that marketplace, where the market is coming from. And what that does is it really helps you substantiate those marketing channels. You then translate into who are these buyers or who are these tenants? What type of businesses? What type of industries are they in? Are they local or are they in and out of area? Are they international? Are they interstate? So the where are they and then the who are they piece, I think forms a really, really nice transition. So after the who are they, it's how do we find them? So where are they? They're in this location. Who are they? They're international businesses. How do we find them? We find them via digital, we find them via email, we find them via telemarketing. So once again, the where, the who, the how are a really good way of actually rolling out the marketing strategy. And of course, once we roll out the how, it's then the package that we're recommending. So once again, where is the market coming from? Who are they? How do we find them? And what is the marketing package that we're recommending? And in that marketing package, I'm really, really encouraging you that you have a marketing package with just one price on it. So my encouragement is rather than itemizing it out and them having to go through that price discussion in their head several times, and I've seen some of the marketing packages out there, there's 15 to 20 different marketing items on there, and every time the client has to go through that price, it's almost like they've got to rationalize and they go through that emotional experience. Have just one price in the bottom of that marketing and make sure that that marketing schedule is visual and has a mixture of online, it has a mixture of all your other marketing strategies, it has a mixture of all your other proactive prospecting strategies like your database, all in that same schedule. So rather than just being marketing, have it all encompassing on one package. And of course, start with a package and sell up and down from that. So if it's a $1,000 package, recommend that and maybe add some to it, or maybe recommend that and maybe take some things off depending on what you think the budget is. And leading to this, this is where all the mindset thing comes in again, it's the belief. Because in your mind, if you're not starting this conversation with they are going to pay it up front, then the way in which you explain it changes in the conversation. And so your belief is going to be 90% of what they purchase in this. So other than the strategy, your belief on whether they should pay for it or not is going to be the very thing that gets you across the line. And so really, when we start talking about some of the marketing strategies on that actual one-page marketing package, when it comes to, say, digital marketing and say, for instance, Real Commercial, rather than just saying, oh, it's a Real Commercial and it's this type of listing, it's an Elite Plus or whatever you're actually marketing, what you want to do is start with a question. Has any of the other agents, or if there's no other agents and you don't want to involve other agents, have you ever been explained the difference with the marketing packages and what that actually returns to you as a client that purchases them? So what is the return on investment in the various different marketing packages? Are you aware of what they are? Are you aware of the exposure? Are you aware of how that affects your price based on the size and how those actual marketing packages function? Particularly if you've got a quiet suburb that lease or that business is trading in, that's like a Sleepy Hollow suburb, those Elite Plus listings need to be explained. That you might have a famous suburb of your region where most of the inquiries are coming through. Now, unless you're in that Elite Plus category, you're not going to be seen. Or if you're going to be seen, it's going to be some months down the track when that purchaser or that landlord discovers it. So the beautiful thing about that package is that once they search through that famous suburb of that region, the next listing that will appear will be the Elite Plus. So once again, depending on the circumstance will depend on what you're actually selling. But I'm really big on just questioning them whether they actually know the difference first. I guarantee they won't. They'll be conditioned to being what I call unconsciously incompetent. Unconsciously incompetent means they don't know what they don't know. So until you unlock that, they're really not going to see any value in the products. The other thing that you might want to consider in your marketing packages, particularly if you've never asked for marketing before, as to whether or not if they pay for it up front, you want to offer any discount. What I've found with services, and when I actually consult through a number of business both in and outside the industry, when you offer up to a 20% discount by paying up front, usually the client will go for that saving. So if it's a $2,000 marketing package, offering a $400 discount if they pay for it up front is going to allow you to see them come at that upfront package without you actually doing anything. Once again, check your local legislation to see whether you can do that. But once again, what we're seeing are things like administration fees getting put in these marketing packages, and often that administration fee can be reneged if you pay for it up front. And what that's doing is leading you to the confidence to one day not have to discount it to get up front, rather just to give you the confidence, just to show that the customers do come at it. So one of the options you could offer is the upfront option, but then you could offer the option 2 as being the part payment up front. So what you want to do in that part payment up front is make sure you've got the real commercial fee in that upfront payment and any other payment that you feel that you want to get up front, and then maybe the rest you can defer. Or maybe you want to have a month-by-month billing system as an option. Or maybe if you've always been given away from free, maybe option 4 is that they can pay, but they will pay once the property's sold. Or the 4th option is if they don't actually sell the property, that you're at the very least going to be billing them for it. Once again, coming off a free base or coming off any one of those bases, all you want to do in the back of your mind is have options. And in my experience, by just simply asking for it up front with some strategy that we've discussed today, nearly 3/4 of them will just come at you and say yes. Of the quarter that don't, it's going to take a little bit of skill. But make sure if you don't get that skill across and you don't sell the value, you've got other options to default to. Most importantly, don't offer all options up front because they will often go for the one that's the path of least resistance. But in the back of your mind, have those options available. What's interesting about those options is by defaulting to an option, what typically happens, because you've given them another option and you've somewhat commercialized that deal a lot cleaner in their eyes, they'll be less likely to touch your commission. The other way that you want to communicate this marketing strategy is via a funnel. And if you want to go in with your highest marketing packages and sell it, the way in which you explain it is you draw a funnel. And in the top of the funnel, you basically explain with this marketing package, what we know is it's going to generate this many sets of eyes looking at it, this many inquiries, this many phone calls, this many inspections, and this many people competing to lease or buy your property. However, if we change the size of the marketing, if we change the way in which it's marketed online and we go for something smaller, or we go for something that hasn't got as much impact, we can still do that. It's just what will happen in that funnel is we'll be showing it to less people, we'll be getting less inspections, we'll be getting less inquiries, we'll be showing less people, and therefore we'll be negotiating with less amount of people. And that explanation often can get them to rationalise. And what you're basically explaining is if you go with this marketing package I'm recommending, you're giving us more buyers to work with. One way that we can actually explain that, and again for those people that are sports enthusiasts, is I talk about the Melbourne Cup. And I say to our clients, I say, look, if you look at the Melbourne Cup, and let's just say you've got the best jockey, and at the moment the best jockey would be Hugh Bowman. He rode Winx, and wasn't that a great win the other week with Winx? What we know about the best jockey is if you put the best jockey on the best horses, like Winx, he'll be able to navigate that horse to win by at least 3 to 4 lengths more than if a poor jockey or a less experienced jockey was on the back of that horse. However, if you get that jockey and you put that jockey on a fat overweight horse that's got no ability, I don't care how good the jockey is, it's still running last. The point that I want to make, you put a good agent with the tools, with the marketing, with the right marketing package, they'll get an extra 3 to 5 bids, or they'll get an extra 2 to 3 tenants vying for that lease or vying to buy that property. So the point that we want to make is give me the tools to be able to do my job. If you change the tools, we'll still be able to do a job, but it just won't be maximising the price of that property.